Are you a local service provider that struggles to ask for referrals? Well, hey, here's the good news. You're not the only one. And so I'm going to invite you to hang with me for over the next few minutes. I'm hopefully going to be able to share some things that you can do to start changing that and get better at asking for referrals. And so, if you don't know me, I'm Bill Utenage, and I am the author of the Amazon best-selling book Referability Roadmap. And I've spent over now 3 decades running and owning service-based businesses and helping those that are in the service-based industry, real estate, mortgage, insurance, financial services, help them grow their business by teaching them how to tap into those people that already know, like, and trust them, right? The people that are already doing business with us, that are in our network, that are in our sphere of influence, that a lot of times, to be honest, we just really just take for granted because we make the mistake of assuming that because they already know us, they like us, and they trust us, that they're automatically just going to send us business. And you probably know this already. You know that is not the case a lot of the times, because we'll go, wow, I really did a great job for these people and they really like me, but they've never referred anybody to me. And there's a lot of things that kind of go into that. And so for today's video, what I really want to focus on is really kind of the ask. And the reason why I'm doing another training on this one is we just need repetition on things. But over the last week and a half, I've had several people reach out to me, and you probably have seen I utilize Facebook ads to help grow my coaching business, and I'm always giving away something, right, inside of that. And one of the things that I've been asked a lot, especially this week, and I've been in multiple conversations with insurance agents around this, primarily, is around this referral generator script that I was offering. And as I'm in conversation with folks talking about this, is like, what I'm really finding is like, one of the biggest challenges is not even really not knowing what to say. It's just not having actually been engaging with those people, with that database. That's something that if you've been around me for a minute, I preach this. I talk about this all the time around making sure that you have your database, that you have your people in there, you have them sorted into 3 different categories. And again, a lot of that you can go back and watch other training on my either my YouTube page or on my Facebook page. But what I want to talk about today is really is making sure that we're actually connecting with those folks, because those are what we call, our warm audience. Those are the people that already know, like, and trust us. And they're the ones that are going to be more likely to refer us and or do business with us in the future. And I had a conversation with a person a couple of days ago, and I was asking, hey, so what's the biggest challenge that you're having in getting referrals? And he's just like finding the time to do it. I'm like, okay, so where are you spending your time in your lead generation? He's like, well, working cold leads. And cold audiences, meaning reaching out to people that don't know him, that have never done business with him. And I thought that was interesting, because it was a real notice, because that's something like where this person's spending a majority of their time in going after and trying to convince people, right? And a lot of us do, hey, that we have the best service, we can take care of you, we can solve the issue that you have. When what happens is that we've got this whole big group of people over here that are just like, hey, we know you, you do a great job for us. And if we were to engage those people and really understand and know how to ask for the referral, it would be a game changer in most everyone's business. I truly believe that. I've seen it in my own business, obviously with others that that I work with that do that and see that change. But the issue of it is that we take this group of people, and I did this as well. So my hand is up when in this as well, is that you take this group of people really kind of for granted. Like, they're like, well, of course, why would they not refer me? And the issue is because, well, they're not thinking about you. Maybe we haven't taught them how to refer us, right? What that looks like. There's so many things that kind of go into that. But if we would focus on more of our energy inside of that, creating that system and building it, Now, if you still want to do certain things that, in cold traffic, okay, but don't like, this is where I talk about building a referral based business, especially if you've been in business for a few years. You've got at least, maybe a couple hundred people in your database from current or past clients, depending on what industry you're in, your network, your sphere of influence, right? People that know, like, and trust you. And there's where the issue comes, is because when we're not reaching out to those people, and then we can you can use a dialogue and to call people and have conversations, but if you're not in relationship with them, that's what makes it kind of awkward and weird. It just does. And this is why so many people I find that are in the service-based world don't do it, because they're like, I haven't reached out, I haven't talked to that person since, and if you're in real estate, since the property closed. Now, if you're in insurance or you're in financial services, because those people are with you, I mean, they are clients right now. And so there's where those conversations really need to be happening more. For those that are in mortgage and in real estate, as we know, those are one-off transactions. Now, you may have clients in there that are doing multiple deals with you. They may be an investor, right? They may be, somebody that refers you, a lot of business, which is great. That's where we want to be spending time with those people, because they've already raised their hand saying, yes, hey, I like you, I know you, I trust you, I'll refer you business. Give me a reason to do that, because I'm just not sitting around the house winking, hey, I wonder if Bill needs business. I should go out and look for business for him, because no one's thinking about us in that way. So I wanted to just kind of set the context of this kind of in the beginning, so we just kind of understand that, and really seeing where you at, like, in all of this. Do you just not have your database set up and and we're just kind of winging it? Okay. Or do you got some people in there and you've got a good number of people, but you're just not connecting, with them at all, doing anything. There's one of the things that I learned from one of my mentors, Brian Buffini. It was something that he called an apology letter. And it's basically is that you send this letter out, and it could be an email to people, just going, telling them, hey, I haven't done a great job staying in, connection with you, and I'm going to do better at that. And it kind of goes into, what that looks like, to let people know, hey, I haven't done a great job, but this is what I'm going to do. And this is what you can expect from me, to stay more, in more contact with you, to bring you information that you can find, useful in your life, to help you, solve a problem or make your life better or easier. And when we do that, so we're just owning it and doing it. And then that allows us to be able to do it. Here's the other thing is I want to share with you, is that people really just aren't thinking about you, like why you haven't reached out to them. There may be a few, like less than 1% of the people kind of go, oh, that are just geared that way. But most people aren't, like, especially if you're in real estate and you're in mortgage, where it's a one-off. Now, if you're in insurance or financial services, there's where the bigger challenge, because they're policyholders or they have money invested with you. And so that communication is so important. Just, if nothing else, that is for retention. And you've heard me talk about this before. One of the biggest reasons, one of the main reasons, if not almost number one reason why people leave their insurance agent or switch financial advisors or planners, is poor communication or lack of communication. It's crazy. It's not usually cost. But it's the fact of the matter is there's just not communication, and communication is so important. Not only just for the referral piece of that, but it's also to basically continue to keep them as clients if we are in, insurance or in financial services. So when I was having these conversations this week, it was just interesting, because so many of these things came up, and people were asking me for, I want this referral generator script, and it works. I mean, and if you guys want a copy of it, I will send it to you. It works as long as that you have a relationship in this, because if it doesn't work on cold traffic. It just, I shouldn't say it doesn't work on cold traffic. I've never used it on cold traffic, because the way as you guys know, coming out of the real estate world is where I spent my time, 16, almost 17 years of running a real estate business. Is our business was, generated, it was 94% referral. And so this script works inside of that for cold, because some of the language that we're using in there is like, I've got to be in relationship with them before I'm going to ask them to do me a favor. If I meet someone cold on the street to ask me, for a favor, you could do it. You could always test it to see if it works. But the issue is what we want to make sure that we're doing is first and foremost is that we're building these, these relationships. Okay. That's where it starts. The database, getting everything in there, building that system. Now, if you are at that point, and I'll share this with you. That's why I offered to send it to you, and I'll send it over to you in Messenger. Just drop a comment, however you're consuming this, whether it's on LinkedIn, YouTube, my Facebook page, my business page, wherever you're consuming this content. Just drop a comment. I'll find it, see it, and I'll send it over to you. Assuming that's what you need. And I had a couple people reach out to me, and this is what led me to do this video. I had a couple people reach out to me, and they're like, "Hey, I want that." And so I just get into conversation with them, asking them because I want to make sure that what I'm sending someone is actually really the thing that they need. It's their most immediate constraint. One of my mentors, Nick Peterson, what he talks about is, what's your most immediate constraint right now in your business? And so most people go, it's getting leads. It's like, okay, what is that? And so what does that look like? How are you currently getting leads right now? And it's kind of digging into that, because I could give you this script and it tells you basically word for word, what to say. But the issue is that if you don't have anybody to say it to, or the people they're all a cold audience, it may not be effective. And then I give this to people and they go, well, it didn't work. I'm like, well, it didn't work because if I were just to give this to you, this is why I'll help people in another way of like going, hey, wait a second, here's a better script. This is a script to use to help grow you, to build your database. If you're new, or maybe you need to send the apology letter and then start engaging with people, right? Bringing them value, and then asking if out of the blue, and I haven't talked to you in years, and go, hey, Jenny, can you do me a favor? If you know somebody that's, and I go into the script, it could work, but it will be way more effective if we have a better relationship. And again, yes, this all takes work. There is no silver bullet that I have found. It's just work. You hear me to say this a lot, is that the shortcut is the process, meaning is that we just have to do the work. It took me 10 years to be, an overnight success. You hear that all the time. It's all of that. But if you'll build it, if you'll have a system around creating a way to make it easier on yourself, and to be able to bring value to your clients, then that opens up that piece of that referral. So the issue is like we get to the point of like asking, and most people, and I want to just touch on this and in this video, because I headed it up, is like, hey, you struggle with with asking, and most of the time is that answer is absolutely yes. That most people that I talk to, I don't care if you're in insurance, real estate, doesn't matter what industry you are. Most people have call reluctance. Most people, not even so much the call reluctance, is that they come from a place of they feel awkward, they feel needy if they do that. And I've also had other coaches I've heard say, you should never ask for a referral, ever. Like, don't ask for a referral. If you do great work, and they're gonna see that and they're gonna do it. Maybe not. And as much, time I've spent in personal development and understanding how the brain works and all of these things, is that boils down to is the people just, because most people just aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about what's going on in their world. They think about you when you put yourself in their world that can help them make their life easier, better, or solve a problem. That's when they think about you. So the issue of it is that when we're reaching out to people, having that relationship is, and when I use this script is one. In a script, you can call it a dialogue. And here's the thing. Most people are going to say, you know what, Bill? And I hear this come up all the time. So let's just address it, because that way we know when it happened, because it may come up for you. It's like, and you may be watching this now and going, I don't want a script. I don't want a dialogue, because it makes me feel, canned. It makes me feel, it doesn't work for me. And so here's the thing that I always say, here's the example that I typically always use, is like, I will ask you, like, hey, do you enjoy movies? Do you enjoy going to the movies? And most people will say yes. I'm like, wonderful. I said, do you think that when they were going to shoot, pick whatever favorite movie that you are. I like the Top Gun movies. I don't watch a lot of TV, but so let's just use that for example, right? So the Top Gun movie, so Maverick, Top Gun, do you think that Tom Cruise and all those guys and gals, they got together on set and they were like, hey, let's shoot this sequel. Let's shoot this movie. And you know what we're going to do is we're just going to wing it. Like we're going to, like, you say something, Tom, and then I'll say, Jenny will say, I'll say something. And then we'll just, just going to make this movie. And as you're listening to this, you're like, well, that can never happen. And you're right. What could happen? It would just be horrible and no one would probably want to watch it. But the point I want to make is that everything that they say in that movie is scripted. Everything, pretty much. I would say 99%. There may be some where they ad lib like a little bit, on it, but 99% of that is that everyone knows what they're going to say. And why do they do that? They do it because they know if they do it that way, the finished product will be a blockbuster movie. And us as professionals is that what we want to do, and so many times is that we're just like, oh, I don't want to feel trapped, and I just want to, I just need to be me, and I need to do all that. That's cool. I get it. I'm an entrepreneur for 30 plus years. I don't like to be held down either. But I'll tell you what it is that it's just understanding, knowing what to say. It's like handling objections. I got to know what to say when someone says, hey, I can get this cheaper down the street. Okay, well, all right, then I guess you can go get it cheaper down the street, instead of understanding like, hey, like a question. It's like, hey, is it this, asking a question is like, hey, what's important to you about the price? What's, when you say you can get it cheaper down the street, what does that really, is it the same thing that we're offering? And it's just asking questions, right? It's knowing what to say. And when we're asking for referrals, it's no different. And it's not trying to trick people into doing it. It's just being real. And when I always just take a dialogue or script, whatever that you want to call it, it's the same. Just however we want to call it, a tomato or a tomato, and make it your own. But the thing about it is that is to internalize that. So when you say that, it's not like you're reading it, right? Because you ever get a call, and most people don't answer the phone anymore, but get a call from a telemarketer. And it's interesting because, once in a while, I rarely pick up my phone if I don't have that person in my phone, but I'll pick it up. And if someone's a telemarketer, and I could tell they're reading from a script, you can just tell, versus it being natural. And so what I want you to do when you're working on these dialogues or scripts or whatever that you're doing, and it's just like presentation. If you're going to be presenting to someone, you would practice that. You would know what to say. And so inside of that, when we're asking for the referral, it's why this referral generator script works, is that one, I'm talking to people that already know and I can trust me. This is why I said at the beginning is like, I don't recommend this for people that don't know who you are. It's going to be weird and it's not going to work, I don't think. So like in this case is that we're going to be in conversation with someone, and this is where we're calling in and we're having a conversation with people in our database. And the thing about it is like, we're just calling, hey, we're calling to check in with them. One of the things what we can do is we can use Facebook to our advantage instead of just spending mindlessly time on scrolling. Is a lot of times you're going to be friends with your clients and finding out, hey, what's going on in their life. You may see something that pops up that like, hey, one of their kids just graduated high school. Anything that's a milestone inside of their life, not yours, what's in their life, is always a great conversation. It's like, hey, and you can call them up. I just saw this. I'm like, hey, I can't believe that Keegan is getting ready to, she's a senior and she's going to graduate this year. That's crazy. Right. And then you just get into that conversation. I just saw that and I was wild. Like, how are you feeling about that? Right. Oh my God, I can't believe it either. And you're just getting into a conversation. And I'm just going to tell you in all of that, because these are people that already know, like, and trust you. They've not been thinking about you, but all of a sudden now you've injected yourself into their life, not about yourself, but about something about them. Then what I'm going to tell you, 80 to 90% of the time is going to happen is that in that conversation, people, they're going to ask because you brought value to them by asking about them that showed that you cared. And they're going to go, hey, Bill, hey, so what's going on in real estate right now? What's happening in the business? Whatever, it's going to come up. Or it's going to be like, oh, hey, awesome. Hey, thank you for asking. And then here's the opportunity, right? Because they have asked what's going on. This is where we want to have something specific in this. And so if I was in real estate, selling real estate actively, then I would just say, hey, thank you for asking. Hey, right now, what I'm really looking for is that we've got some great opportunities for, for first time home, for first time home buyers, people, people that are getting married, or people that are just looking at, hey, they want to get out of a rental and they're going to buy a house together, and and do that. And I would, it might be a friend or a family member that's looking to, to purchase their first home. I would love to have a conversation, with them about that. Hey, would may I ask you for a favor? And I'm going to pause, and they're going to go, yeah, sure. What? Hey, so, hey, if you hear of someone, if you run across somebody, again, like a friend or a family member that may be thinking of talking about, or has questions about, buying their first home, hey, would you do me a favor and connect me with them? And the best way to do that is if you would just do that, like on a joint email, add me on it, them and you, and then I'll take it from there and see if we can't help them. That'd be okay. And you see that? Do you see where that whole piece of that goes? I wasn't reading. I have it here, right? But I wasn't reading that because I've said it multiple times in my life, and so and to internalize that. And the thing about it is that what it is, it becomes natural. Now you have to do that, and you can tailor it, right, obviously, to your industry. Whether I can take that and that dialogue, that script, and I can basically take that into just about any business that I wanted to, right? Whether that's insurance, if that was financial services, right, mortgage, right, to flip it. And so I share that with you because it that when I ask them, hey, may I ask you for a favor? Can I ask you for a favor? I don't care the exact language is that I want you to be asking them, hey, can I ask you for a favor? And I want you to pause on that, not for dramatic pause. It's just like just to pause. Hey, because a lot of times and I'm bad at this too, because I talk really fast, as you guys know. I'll have people comment on my videos and going, hey, Bill, can you slow down? No, you'll just have to go back and just slow the video down, because it's just not in me, and I'm 60 now, so probably not going to slow down at this point in time. Hopefully not, anyhow. But when we use that and we have that pause in there, because then it gets them to think, it's like, hey, yes, yeah. What do you need? What's going on? What do you need? Because they think it's going to be some bigger issue, whether they maybe. And why this works? Okay, couple of things is that one is we were specific with our ask. Okay, this is what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for people that maybe that are looking to buy their first home. Okay. Specific, because then our brain can search for that. Who do I know, friend or a family member, that may be wanting to buy their first home? Who do I know that maybe is getting married? Maybe I've heard of some folks wanting to, just get to, they want to buy a house because they want to stop renting. Who could that be? And the brain will open up a loop right on that. Now, when I say is like, hey, if you know anybody that's thinking about buying or selling or investing in real estate, hey, would you connect me with them? There's too many things. See, there's like three things that I said. Even if I say that they're thinking about wanting to buy a home, like, yeah. But if I'm just like, if I slow down and I'm specific. Now, the reason why a lot of people don't want to use this, or they say it doesn't work, is because they're going to go, well, what if they're not first time home buyers? Well, it doesn't matter, because the issue, because what will happen, because I've had this happen. I've had clients of mine that use this happen, where they're like, oh, hey, I got a friend of mine, actually. I don't know anybody. I can't think of anybody right now that's looking to buy, but I have a friend of mine, now that you say that they're going to be moving to Colorado and they're going to be selling their home. Would you be able to help them with that? Yeah, absolutely. Love to have a conversation with them to see if we can. Hey, would you mind connecting us, through email? Right? There's the opportunity. Let's say nothing comes from the call, which that's going to be, I'm going to say, let's just be real, comes from a lot of times, the majority of the time. Usually someone has that person right then and there. There are times when that happens. That's awesome. That's only going to be about 2 to 3% of the time. But the piece of this is that a couple of things have happened. One, we've called them and we've had a conversation with them. We brought value to them by asking them about their life that we noticed. So we're like, hey, we noticed this. And it meant something to me to take the time to call. And they asked me, so we had an ask out there. But then what happens is, even if I'm off that, now I'm top of mind, right? You're top of mind with that person for a period of time. It's going to diminish. It is going to diminish. But the issue is like, hey, I had a good conversation. I can't believe Bill thought about Keegan, about her graduating. That's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then, right? Because then they're thinking about it. And then they're in a position to where, like, if they're out and about, now their reticular activator is working more so. Some people more than others. So if they happen to hear somebody of that, they're like, oh, hey, you got to talk to my agent. He's awesome, right? Because why? Because, well, you're awesome. And because you've stayed in contact and you're bringing value. This is where the opportunity of this is why, like, the ability, and this is the stacking effect of, of doing this over, over time, is like why we do all the things that I teach in there. Why we're connecting through email, direct mail, right? Texting, handwritten notes, right? All of those things is that as we're engaging with those people that already know, like, and trust us, then what is that we're top of mind, because then they're going to be somewhere where that insurance comes up. You're like going, hey, you got to use my buddy Chris. He's awesome. Let me connect you, right? Because most people want to be helpful. And if you're top of mind for them, the issue is that so many people aren't. Like, I'm talking to some of these insurance agents this week, and it's not just, I'm not just picking on insurance. It just so happened that was who reached out to me this week. And it's just like, but I'm thinking to myself, you're not top of mind with these people. You haven't talked to them. You have a couple of hundred people in your database, and it's been like forever that you've had any kind of communication with them, and they're just there and waiting. And so that's where we have to do the work. So the referral generator script, I call it that because it's just it can generate referrals if you're using it the right way, using it to the people that are in that. And then the second part of it in it is, you may have people that don't ask you about you. And here's the thing that you can do. You have them on the phone. If they don't ask you, those are the D personalities where they're just like, we're on the phone, quick, we're going. Is before you get off the phone, it's like, hey, Bill, hey, may I ask you for a favor? And they're like, yeah, sure. What's up? Hey. And then I just go into it. And it's like, hey, right now I'm currently looking for people that are looking to buy their first home. They may be newly married, or just people that are just got to get that want to, stop renting and get their own place. We have some great opportunities, in the market right now. And I'd love to have a conversation if you know someone, a friend or a family member, that may fit that. And would you mind connecting me? And what I find is the best way to do this is just do it, just do an email, a joint email, me, you, and them on there, and I'll get that, and I'll take it from there. Would that be okay? Yeah. You see, so it works. So it just depends on the situation of it, and it's okay. But I'm going to say 80% of the people are going to ask you, maybe, and probably more, are going to ask you, hey, what's going on? How's business? Whatever that is, that's your opportunity. Don't do it like what most people do. Don't go, oh, it's awesome, doing great, busy, so busy, really busy, right? And they're like, oh, okay, well, he's busy. He doesn't need my help in growing his business, right? Don't let that ego, don't let that pride take over on that. Unless you're just like super busy, you don't want any more business, then, well, still get it and refer it to a friend, a colleague, or whatever. I don't know. I find it that most of us probably could use, especially the referred business, because usually that business is always going to be our best business. So why would we not want to, why would we want to take that? So we don't have to spend so much time over here chasing cold leads, trying to convince them to work with us, when we have people over here, right, that know, like, and trust us and will refer us. And so I know this is a long one today. And the reason is I just, because this will work. And if we'll just slow down and take the time to build it and to do it, to have those conversations, because remember, these people are people that know you. They're either doing business with you or they have done business with you, depending on what industry that you're in. None of this, what I teach, is anything to do with cold calling. Now, in transparency, I do run ads for my coaching business because I'm not limited geographically here to Southwest Florida. I have clients across the country. But a lot of those people come in cold. This is why I do so much content. This is why I give things away, right? My advertising is different. I'm not selling, I'm not running people to, webinars and to do all of these other things. Is that all I'm looking to do, to be honest, is I'm looking just to get into a conversation with someone, typically, and it's through messengers where we start. And then if I feel like I can help them or answering some questions, and we hop on a call and then kind of figure out, hey, where are they at? What do they need? What's going on? Build a relationship instead of just trying to sell someone, because I might not be the best fit. You might not be the best fit for someone. And that's okay. There's 8 billion people in the world. We don't need them all. We're not going to get them all. So let's be focusing on the ones, especially right now, the ones that already know, like, and trust us. If you're not getting at least half of your business, if you're a local service-based business owner, mortgage, real estate, insurance, financial services, and you're not getting at least half of your business from referrals, then there's a challenge in there that can more than likely probably be addressed. So if you want to know more about that, you know where to find me. I'm easy to find here. Just reach out to me, shoot me a direct message. Happy to have a conversation. If you want a copy of the referral generator script, let me know. If you want a copy of the apology letter, I've got a copy of that too. I'm happy to share with you. So that's what I've got for you in today's video. I hope that was helpful. As always, hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me hopefully help you and help you grow your business and get